After the penalty, the ball is pushed back to the 18-yard line, but it's Washington forcing a turnover for the first time this year. And here's a pass that's complete. Denzel Boston, first down. One grab, 29 yards this week to the 41-yard line. On the eastern Michigan half of the field, Rodgers, a deep ball, looking for the grab. 2 catches and 2 touchdowns in his Washington career.
Oh, they are really high. On the outside, he sees his tight end running with the acceleration, able to pull away from the linebacker. Good catch, good concentration, stay in bounds. Nice score for the young man.
Great tightrope. He caught a 33-yard touchdown pass last week against Weber State for his only grab of the game. And this one is a 41-yard pass.
Oh, look at that clean pocket. You can't ask for anything better than that. And Will Rogers has a nice strike for a touchdown.
And then great balance.
Tightrope. Did he go out of bounds? No. It's been confirmed. He did not. Touchdown.
The biggest blemish for either of the quarterbacks today was Cole Snyder's fumble, which Washington then turned into points. Jonah Coleman, known for breaking tackles, but he's got some wheels too. Played quite the game here in the first half. But Washington has found their footing thanks in large part to Will Rogers throwing the ball to grab for a touchdown on the last drive. And this drive ends with a pass to Denzel Boston for a score. 7 catches, but 6 last week and 2 today.
Look at the bottom of your screen. Denzel runs a nice little post route. There's a safety in there.
2nd and goal at the 1. The throw. Boston hangs on to this one and gets his feet down and bounds for the score.
Here's Jackson coming in motion. Just a crossing route. They both go out. One to the back pylon, one to the short side. It's an easy pitch and catch for Rodgers. Quick score for the Dogs.
Hops like that. Rodgers throwing, looking for Hunter. Hunter grabs it. 4 straight scores for Washington.
Take a look at the protection. Clean pocket. You can count to 5 Mississippi on that one, Mark. Hunter
After the penalty, the ball is pushed back to the 18-yard line, but it's Washington forcing a turnover for the first time this year. And here's a pass that's complete. Denzel Boston, first down. One grab, 29 yards this week to the 41-yard line. On the eastern Michigan half of the field, Rodgers, a deep ball, looking for the grab. 2 catches and 2 touchdowns in his Washington career.
Oh, they are really high. On the outside, he sees his tight end running with the acceleration, able to pull away from the linebacker. Good catch, good concentration, stay in bounds. Nice score for the young man.
Great tightrope. He caught a 33-yard touchdown pass last week against Weber State for his only grab of the game. And this one is a 41-yard pass.
Oh, look at that clean pocket. You can't ask for anything better than that. And Will Rogers has a nice strike for a touchdown.
And then great balance.
Tightrope. Did he go out of bounds? No. It's been confirmed. He did not. Touchdown.
The biggest blemish for either of the quarterbacks today was Cole Snyder's fumble, which Washington then turned into points. Jonah Coleman, known for breaking tackles, but he's got some wheels too. Played quite the game here in the first half. But Washington has found their footing thanks in large part to Will Rogers throwing the ball to grab for a touchdown on the last drive. And this drive ends with a pass to Denzel Boston for a score. 7 catches, but 6 last week and 2 today.
Look at the bottom of your screen. Denzel runs a nice little post route. There's a safety in there.
2nd and goal at the 1. The throw. Boston hangs on to this one and gets his feet down and bounds for the score.
Here's Jackson coming in motion. Just a crossing route. They both go out. One to the back pylon, one to the short side. It's an easy pitch and catch for Rogers. Quick score for the Dogs.
Hops like that. Rogers throwing, looking for Hunter. Hunter grabs it. 4 straight scores for Washington.
Take a look at the protection. Clean pocket. You can count to 5 Mississippi on that one, Mark. Hunter comes up big.
All right, new location. Temporary new location. Hope everybody's good. Happy Monday. Just getting started here on completed all of our stuff regarding Eastern Michigan yesterday afternoon. Met with our team and then started our preparation this evening, or last evening, I should say, for the Apple Cup. Spent this all morning doing the same thing, and now it's time as we continue to focus in on what's ahead of us. We know it's a great opportunity. It's a great tradition, great game, and certainly excited about what the game's going to bring on Saturday. Finished up all of our thoughts regarding Eastern Michigan, and really not too different than what we talked about after the game. We gave 2 additional game balls out. We gave a game ball to Jeremiah Hunter and a game ball to Carson Bruner, along with the game balls we gave to Will Rogers, to Zach Durfee, to Giles Jackson, to Denzel Boston, and to Brian Parham and Cam Broussard. So those guys were all the recipients of the game ball. Javon Parker, recipient of the Dog of the Week, and certainly think that those guys were all due that. Defensively, went back, watched it again, did a fantastic job on defense. That first 4-down stop was huge in the momentum of the game, and then the 4th and 1. So it was really a 4th and 2 stop that they made, and then a 4th and 1 conversion that the offense made that enabled the game to go the way we expected it to go. So now it is time to move forward, answer whatever questions I can regarding Saturday's game, and then just at the beginning parts of my preparation for this coming Saturday.
Jedd, for Husky fans, having the Apple Cup this Saturday is very, very odd. It's obviously been an end-of-the-year game forever. Do you have any thoughts on just playing this game, moving it to week 3, and then knowing you, do you like to kind of get a little bit extra juice in the locker room for rivalry games, or is it status quo no matter what?
Yeah, I told our guys, I think it's an awesome opportunity to have it week 3 because it'll enable us to really lock in early in the season. I think it'll give us the best practices we've had all year. I would love to say we would practice the same way no matter who we're playing, but when you do have a rivalry game, your practice is a little more amped up. The competitive nature is a little more amped up. The energy on the field is a little bit higher. So it's nice to have that week 3 of the season. When it comes down to the game itself, we'll have certain speakers. We'll bring in certain traditions. We'll continue to make sure that our guys understand the importance of the game without making the game so much so that you lose the discipline and that you lose your preparation. I really believe that in rivalry games, no matter what they were, and I've been in some good ones, Michigan, Ohio State, that went to double overtime. I went to, obviously, the last 3 years of the Territorial Cup. They're all good games, but you've got to be the team that's the most disciplined and the most able to continue to run your scheme.
Do you think this rivalry will survive even though the two teams now are not in the same league?
I don't know. I think there's still Iowa State have been in different leagues, and that's one's been around for a long time. That's kind of the first one that popped into my head of two that have survived it. I know Texas A&M and Texas struggled to continue theirs. Now that's back. Pitt, West Virginia, I know is back. So I think it'll all just depend on what everybody's appetite is to be able to schedule these games in the future. But I know we have it for the next 5 years. So it's going to be really important over these next 5 years that we continue to make this game as important as it is.
When you look back at the film, the Eastern Michigan game, what did you see about the special teams there, the block punt and the missed extra point? And was it intentional to get Caleb Johnson in the game?
Yeah, it was certainly intentional. Well, first with Caleb Johnson, he was snapping the ball well all week, and we were having no issues. It was coming back with good speed, good velocity. It was hitting his point, hitting his mark. So we went with Caleb there. That was and he did all of them except for the last one of the game. That extra point miss came to go up 28-6. So the other 3 were all fine. And then in terms of the punt, they overloaded the A-gap into the boundary. They wound up putting 3 guys in there. We needed to make a protection adjustment. We didn't get the adjustment out fast enough. When the adjustment wasn't made, we wound up having a little bit of a technique error as well as a communication error. So we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about that and making sure that gets cleaned up.
With the tablets allowed on the sideline now, how much does that change your understanding of precisely what happened on particular plays throughout the game?
Yeah, you get the answers quick, and you see it quick. You still can't go back and correct it in terms of what just happened, but you can make sure something like that doesn't happen again. It's a lot harder to attack certain things when you know that they're seeing it as well, right? Like, it's one thing if you get a beat for something and you don't have tablets, you can keep going back to that, go back to that look or go back to that formation or go back to that pressure. But nowadays you have a pressure, you don't pick it up, quarterback gets sacked. You're pretty confident knowing that someone's going to look at that tablet and say, okay, hey, if they bring this pressure again, this is our answer. So it is going to be a little more challenging to go back to the same stuff, but I think what it does makes coaches think about what's next.
Have you had a lot of dependable receivers over the years? Giles Jackson, 16 targets, 16 catches. What's allowed him to be so effective in this offense?
It's the offense is built around the receiver position. The offense is built. The slot receivers in this offense have always been very productive, as has the outside receivers. They are able to, we try to create different ways to get them the ball, either early in a game to get their confidence up, or be able to find certain concepts that they're good at and make sure we call those plays. It's great to have 100% catch rate on targets. That's exceptional, and hopefully we can continue that. And he can, hopefully hit a fantastic milestone in terms of catches and yards and all those great things. But unfortunately, we missed one on him. We had a 47-yarder that had to get called back, or that would have been a heck of a night for him. He would have hit 100 yards and 17 for 17. But Giles has done great, very reliable, and really counting on him to continue in that regard.
Yeah, I know you talked about just kind of diving into Wazoo a little bit here today, but Mateer goes for almost 200 yards on the ground against Tech on Saturday. In general terms, what are the challenges when you face kind of a dual threat quarterback like that?
Well, the most important thing you can do as a defense is try to take away a team's strength. And then obviously their quarterbacks traditionally are going to be what the strength is. In this case, what are you going to limit him to do? Are you going to force him to become just a thrower? Are you going to allow him to throw but not run? Are you going to have to have him run but not throw? The dual threat is a real deal. It makes it challenging. It makes it hard. And he had happened to have a huge day or a huge night. I watched a lot of it back at home on Saturday night, and you just saw this guy making play after play, and they really scored 100 points in 6 quarters, right? If you look at the points that they scored week 1, and then they scored 34 points in the first half. They scored 3 in the second half. So when you look at the amount of points that they were able to put up over the 2 weeks, this guy's very productive, very good. And, you got to decide different ways that you're going to defend those type quarterbacks. And I've had a couple of them. I mean, Cam Newton would probably be the one that would stand out, probably the best ever or one of the best ever dual threat quarterbacks. So it's fun to coach those guys. And I think there'll be some others here in the future.
Your defense has allowed just 7 third-down conversions on 31 attempts with an average of 9 yards to go. What have you seen from your defense that's allowed them to be so successful on third down?
Well, the most important thing to be good on third down on defense is to be really good on first and second down on defense. So it's that 7+, right? 3rd and 7 or more yards. Those are hard to convert. In the same regard on offense, the best way to be good on third down is to have 3rd and 4 or less. I think our defense has done a fantastic job of winning the early downs, of creating a negative play. I told our team we had 68 defensive snaps on Saturday, and 30 of them went for 1 yard or less. So when you have that type of production with your defense, that it's really hard on third down to convert the 3rd and 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s. And our defense has created the tackle for losses, and that's been the biggest difference.
Jedd, you have a tailback that's run for 100 yards in your first 2 games. The guy that runs behind him is a team captain who's been productive. And then you get to tailback number 3, and I want to see more of that guy. And I'm wondering, how hard is it for you with the temptation to play him, yet you've got to play the other guys that have earned their spots?
Yeah, we talked about it today. We had 24, those 3 guys had 24 carries, I believe it is. Joan only had 11 carries in the game. And the other guys had 13 carries, and Cam had 6, and Adam had 3 or 4, and Sam had 3. And we only had 57 total plays. I think we had 29 passes and 28 runs or something to that effect. There's not a lot of football plays to be able to choose from. I want to see him run more too. I think Adam Muhammad's going to be special. And I'm excited to see where he goes with his career and how good he can get here. I think he could be one of the special running backs that have played here. But for us, we have to, let him grow, let him mature, let it happen naturally, organically, and then see if there's opportunities for us to hand the ball off to him a little bit more. But in the end, I don't know where those carries are coming from. I always tell our guys, like, hey, you want a few more plays? Find Giles on the first third down, and then you got 3 more plays. Find Latu. Latu, don't stop running on the next third down and just keep running, and we'd have 3 more plays. Jonah, hit it up on 2nd and 1 and don't try to bounce it. We'll have 3 more plays. So really the best way to get more carries is to convert. And we've been good on third down. I think we're 50% on the year, but we have a chance to really convert a lot more than we have, and those are the ones that will keep us on the field. But on the same token, I think we're 9th in the country in explosive plays. So if you're 9th in the country with plays of 10 yards or more, you are going to have a few less plays.
How close is Quentin to being able to play, you think?
I'll have to see tomorrow when it's our first time back out there, but I would say he's probably under the doubtful category at this point, unfortunately.
How'd you assess Max's first game as a Husky?
Good. I thought it was great to see him back in there. We worked really hard to get that done. Hats off to Kylie and the UW compliance department dealing with the transfer rules and the waivers that we had to go through. Also to the NCAA for Saturday morning making that decision. I didn't know where we were going to go there. But it was great to get him back, and really he's going to help us.
Is there an eligibility concern with him?
No, they just had to go through all the different aspects of coming from different places.
Jedd, have you thought about any position switches to help out the tight end group at all? Is that even necessary at this point?
No. We had Zach Henning. Zach Henning played 3 plays at tight end, I believe. Owen Coots is getting better. We moved him in the spring from wide receiver to tight end. So that gives us a little bit more depth there. And then hopefully Quentin will be back sooner rather than later. If we can get him back real soon, then no, I'm not worried about it. If it's a longer type injury over the next, if the rehab isn't as clean as we hope or as good as we want it to be, then we'll have to see what else our numbers look like out there.
You mentioned the 4th down play just kind of being the catalyst to just click everything on. What was happening before that play and after that play kind of specifically that just looked different to you?
Yeah, weird stuff, tripping, Will fell on a bootleg. Like, I haven't seen him do that ever since we've been here. Like, he hasn't just fallen down. Landon Hatchett rolled a snap back on which would have been a 3rd and 2 that went to a 4th down. Those type plays were just weird. I don't know exactly how to describe it other than that. And then once we got past that, once we hit on that 4th and 1, I don't know if the anxiety was gone. I don't know if the confidence came back, but we didn't have any more of those plays the rest of the game. And I can't think of, other than turning the ball over at the end of the game on a scramble, which is just a great learning experience, it was about as clean of a game from the 4th and 1 conversion to taking a knee as you could find. 5 possessions, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. The 6th possession, a 60-yard drive, turned it over on a scramble on 1st and 10. Next possession, 64-yard drive, take a knee. So I'm not sure you could have much cleaner of a game after the 4th and 1, and I don't think you could look more like the Bad News Bears than we did before the 4th and 1.
Could you talk about Enoch Davis? He seems to have come a real long way since last year, and he had a sack on Saturday that helped turn a close game into a bigger point spread.
Yeah, he's continuing to improve. He's young, a redshirt freshman. and getting stronger. And he's done a really good job of learning from Javon Parker and listening to Javon and really Javon's kind of taking him under his wings. He's done a lot for us in scout team. And so he's gone against Hatchet, Memelar, D'Lo, Enoch, really almost all of training camp. He was running with the twos, so he was constantly going against the first offense. And I think that's where he really improved himself. And with that being the case, when he started getting there, now he's coming out there with a more confidence and impressive get-off and strong hands. And I think we have something there.
How big of a benefit is it to just have such a nice push from the interior, from Elenius, from Javon, Sebastian, all those different guys? Because this defense last year had 1 sack in total all season long from the interior. You guys had 2.5 on Saturday. Just how much of a benefit is that?
It's huge to be able to push the pocket. It's part of the Belichick defense. You got to be able to push the inside part of the pocket. You got to squeeze the pocket down in the perimeter. The goal is not to have to just bring extra rushers to get sacks. It allows you to cover when it's time to cover. It allows you to rush when it's time to rush. And then I think when you look at how we're doing with it, Seabass, Lenius, Parker, Bryce Butler, Ward, we're able to substitute a lot of guys. Jaden Wayne has come in and done a lot of good things for us, both inside and outside. Boy, inside and outside. So you got these guys playing a lot of different snaps inside and out, which has allowed us to be able to make some plays with our defensive front.
You had a lot of success against Wazoo at Arizona last season. How much different does their defense look this season from the initial impression you got on tape?
The offenses they've played are very different than what we did. Our structure of our offense is different than what Portland State structure or Texas Tech structure. So the defenses that the defenses that Washington State's been going against, or the offenses that Washington State's been going against, has been very different. So it's hard to tell exactly what is it going to look like against our offensive scheme. But they've got good players. I think Coach Dicker does a great job playing the type of defense that he likes to play. I think Coach Schmedding does a great job. We've played them now a couple times, a couple years in a row, and I've certainly seen a lot of their film.
All these changes in college football, you've been very aggressive through it. I know today there was the Go Big Ten fundraising campaign, and you and your wife are aggressive, donating $1 million to start it. Can you talk about that campaign and why it's important for you, Don?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, it was important for Amber and I to commit to continuing to create incredible facilities here at the University of Washington. The Big Ten is a arms race in itself, both NIL and facilities, and operating budgets and travel budgets, and making sure that you're top of the line in all areas. We are going against the best of the best. And in this ever-changing environment of college football, I think it is so critical that there's an investment made from the inside out, from the top down, however you want to look at it, that our community realizes the commitment that we're making is one in which that we ask others to make as well, and one in which that we know we need to make if we're going to compete at the highest level. And as college football continues to change, we're going to continue to ask for more support. And the Go Big Fund, or the Go Big campaign, is the start, right? We're trying to raise $300 million over 5 years. We're going to need it all. We're going to need it and then some. Because if we want to compete with the greatest programs and the top teams, we see what they're doing. We see what they're doing on one side. We see what they're doing NIL-wise. We see what they're doing with their collectives. On the other side, their facilities are top of the line. And in this conference, in the Big Ten, if you don't have both, then you're going to be left behind, because the guys that are coming to visit us recruiting are then going on their next trip to Michigan, and their next trip to Ohio State, and their next trip to Oregon, and we got to look the same, feel the same, and those kids got to feel that they're getting that same commitment.
What do you need that you don't have?
I think everything needs to be refreshed. I think you need to have a top-of-the-line nutrition program, a top-of-the-line hydrotherapy program, a top-of-the-line training program. You need to be able to have a team room, a locker room, meeting rooms that are all at an elite level. And then on top of that, you need to be able to show players in the recruiting landscape that the commitment to winning is at the highest of levels. And then, of course, you need NIL money. And the NIL money is real. And it's not just going to be revenue share. It's going to be continue to be investing in it by our alumni and our donors and the boosters that are out there. And that's why Montlake Futures is so critical, that that will not go away. And if we want to continue to compete at the highest level, we're going to need everybody to give at that highest level.
The locker room has already been upgraded once since the stadium reopened. You want to see that done again?
I do. It was updated in 2017. Since that time, it's been 7 years. A lot has changed in those 7 years. If you look at Texas has updated twice since 2017. Michigan just opened a $7 million locker room 2 months ago. I think we're going to continue to be in those arms races. And when you are going to get in those arms races, you're going to have to continue to get state-of-the-art equipment. The locker room itself, great size, great space. But as you see the changes in lockers and the ventilation systems and the health and safety in there and the ability to put zero-gravity chairs in every locker, the ability to put Normatec boots in every locker, the ability to be able to have the great ventilation for every piece of, and the health of your shoulder pads and your helmets, all those things are critical to the success. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks.